After 15 years working at my company, I received an all too unexpected dismissal letter from the CEO. Restructuring. You're fired. A younger recruit came to say goodbye in a mocking tone. I thanked them for the opportunity and left. The next day, they needed me, but it was already too late. I had dedicated 15 years of my life to Pinnacle Solutions when the email hit my inbox like a punch in the stomach. It was late afternoon, the office buzzing with the usual noise of keyboards and somewhat discouraged conversations. I had just finished a call with Mrs. Delaney, our client for a decade, who still called me the only one who truly understands. Then I saw the subject, organizational update. I thought, nothing major. Victor Grayson, our CEO, loved sending vague memos full of self-importance. I opened the email expecting the same blah 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 about synergy or process optimization. But I came face to face with this. Due to a restructuring, your position is eliminated, effective immediately. Sincerely, Victor. 15 years working there, and that was it. No warning. No thank you for your services. No phone call. Just 13 words and a digital signature. I kept staring at the screen, my heart pounding in my ears. They had eliminated my senior account manager position, effective immediately. I was 42 years old, not some fresh out of college kid, and I had built half the client base from scratch. But there I was, discarded in a single sentence. I leaned back in the chair, which creaked, and let it all sink in. The office remained the same. Phones ringing, someone laughing loudly on the other side. While for me, time seemed to stop. I looked at my desk. A pile of files I had been preparing for the meetings the following week. A photo of me with my old dog, Max, before he passed away. 15 years of being the last to leave, of missing weekends and fighting till the end to close deals. And for what? Restructuring? Everything okay, Martin? The colleague 2 cubicles over-peeked over the divider. She had a knack for sensing the mood, and my face must have been giving everything away. Everything's great. I lied, forcing a smile. It wasn't worth explaining at that moment. I'd tell later. Maybe when I stopped tasting the bitter flavor of humiliation. I started gathering my things. There wasn't much. The photo, some pens, a little notebook where I wrote down clients' quirks over the years. Mrs. Delaney loves 2 spoons of sugar in her coffee. Mr. Patel hates small talk. Little details that kept him loyal. While I was putting the notebook in the bag, Jake showed up full of himself. He was a rookie, about 20 years old, hair full of gel and cheap arrogance. Victor had hired him a month ago with this fresh blood talk. Later veteran, he said, with a smirk that begged for a punch. Now it's time for the young crowd to take over. I looked at him, saw that clueless smile, and felt a heat rising in my chest. I could have snapped back, said I closed more deals in a single year than he would in 10. But why? He would still learn the hard way. Instead, I zipped the bag, stood up and said, "Thanks for the opportunity." A calm and firm tone, as if I was just leaving a meeting, not ending my career. Jake was speechless. He didn't expect me not to fight back, but I was already passing by Lisa, who looked at me with concern. I didn't even stop at the break room, where I had spent a bunch of lunches. I just kept walking towards the glass doors. I got into the elevator and looked at myself in the reflection. Temples starting to go gray. Tired eyes, but chin held firm. I wasn't done, not by a long shot. Arriving home, I dropped the bag on the kitchen counter and poured a glass of water. The apartment was deafeningly silent, and my mind wouldn't stop. I opened the email again on my phone, rereading those 13 words until everything got blurry. Victor hadn't mentioned anything about severance or compensation, just effective immediately, as if I were an expense to be cut. I remember the old days, when Pinnacle was almost a startup, and I would pull all-nighters trying to close clients that Victor couldn't conquer. I trusted him. I believed in the "we're a family" talk he always threw around. What a joke. I grabbed my laptop, the screen lighting up the dark room, and opened my resume. It was outdated. The last time I worked on it had been about 5 years ago, but the base was good. 15 years of results. Clients who stayed with me even through mergers, recessions, and Victor's ego outbursts. I updated positions, added numbers. The $5 million in revenue just last year. My phone vibrated. I saw Victor's name. I let it ring until it stopped. He didn't leave a voicemail, and I wasn't in the mood to hear his voice. I sent my resume to 3 contacts. A recruiter I met at an event, the vice president of a competing company who had tried to poach me before, and a former client who suggested freelance work if I ever left. Then I leaned back in the chair, glass in hand, and let the day settle. Fired at 42, no warning, still mocked by a kid at the end. Did it hurt? Boy, did it hurt. But I wasn't destroyed. I had built something at Pinnacle, much more than Victor imagined, and I could build again. The phone vibrated again. Victor? Again. I ignored it and kept staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow I would figure out the next steps. Today I just needed to breathe. But while I was there, one question kept hammering in my head. What happens when the guy who fires you realizes he was the one who made the mistake?